Hi! Welcome to Surviving Schizophrenia with Steven. My name is Steven. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I want to talk about bullying today. And actually, there's a few comments about it that I've received. So John Jones commented, "It's a breath of fresh air when people go out of the way to make a difference in this world. It takes courage and character to do what you are doing, especially sharing being bullied." And also Noreen Quinn commented, "Steven, you mentioned bullying in another video. This is known to contribute. It's something all teachers, employers, and youth workers should be trained in." And I completely agree. And real quick before we start, I wrote this myself, this entire script, so I'm going to read from that right now. Now, I have loved Pokemon since I was 7 years old. Yet, for many years, I would never admit I loved Pokemon. All because of some 4th grade bullies. Now, some of my fondest childhood memories involve Pokemon. I remember playing Pokemon Diamond and Pearl with my cousins while watching the anime, then going outside and pretending we were Pokemon trainers and battling each other with our favorite Pokemon. I also remember the summer I got Pokemon Platinum and I first entered the Distortion world. It blew my mind. When I was with my friends, we would brag about our strongest Pokemon and trade and battle each other. One winter, my parents and I took a vacation to Mammoth Mountain and got me Pokemon Heart Gold as a gift. I was so excited. I remember pacing around our hotel room, trying to get as many steps on my Pokewalker as possible. And at school, Pokemon was very popular. I recall our teacher being a little upset we could memorize every Pokemon, but couldn't memorize our mathematical equations. Then in 4th grade, things changed. All of a sudden, Pokemon was considered for little children by my school friends and classmates. I remember I wore a Pokemon shirt my parents had got me one of those days, and I was made fun of. That was one of my earliest memories of being bullied. And even though my cousins and I still loved Pokemon, I began to say I didn't like it anymore. I said I was too old for it. I had outgrown it. I mimicked what my classmates were saying. I thought if I said I didn't like Pokemon anymore, they would stop making fun of me. That the bullying would end. So, I gave most of my Pokemon stuff to my younger cousin. My Pokemon games, cards, toys, movies, clothes, and other memorabilia went either to my cousin or was put away. I stopped wearing Pokemon shirts. I stopped talking about Pokemon or saying I liked it even though I still loved it. I thought the bullying was over. But the thing about bullies is that they'll just make fun about something else about you. I learned that the hard way. I was still made the butt of the joke, just not about Pokemon. All that had changed was I had given up my favorite thing in the world. Now years passed, and I was in high school and made new friends. One day they were over and somehow we got on the topic of Pokemon. I went and brought out my Game Boy Color with Pokemon Red and Yellow for the first time in many years. That was the day I got back into Pokemon. I had finally made new friends who liked Pokemon just as much as I did. We played Pokemon together just like we did when we were kids, playing the games we grew up with. Soon after, I also got into the current generation of Pokemon games. At the time it was Pokemon Omega Ruby and Pokemon X. I was hooked on Pokemon again. Since then, I have played every generation. In recent years, I even got into shiny hunting. No one mocks me for liking Pokemon now. Especially after the whole world is playing Pokemon again because of Pokemon Go a few years ago. Looking back, I wish I had never let those kids at school get to me. I could have had so many more years of playing Pokemon, my favorite hobby, by ignoring their mocking. I don't care who knows that I'm a Pokemon fan now. I even have this video now telling all of you. And if you're being bullied at school, I have some suggestions for you. First, don't listen to them. Just don't. No matter how hard it might seem, you're trying to fit in. I was. I thought they were my friends, they weren't. But I still called them my friends and hung out with them. My advice is just don't. If they're not good friends to you, you don't have to be their friend. And I learned that the hard way. Eventually, you will find like-minded people. Maybe you like Pokemon as well, and no one in your school likes Pokemon, they're making fun of you. Try to ignore it. I didn't. I gave in. And eventually though, I did make friends who liked Pokemon as well. So that's kind of my advice to all of you who might be being bullied right now. Just try to ignore it and move on. Eventually, you'll find people that like what you like too. So yeah, I was in 4th grade, so I wasn't really in tune with my mental health at the time. But it still took a toll on me mentally, that's for sure. It wore down my self-worth. I didn't feel good about myself, or what I was doing. Because again, I was being bullied for like Pokemon, which I loved, but I was saying I didn't. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And don't let bullies change you. Be who you are and do what you enjoy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a happy and healthy rest of your day. Bye.